Welcome to Vedic Mathematics. This is base values classes. In phase 11, in the previous lesson 61, our focus has been upon formulation Rudra, and workshop focus has been upon value 5. Here today in lesson 62, focus is going to be upon the formulation Srishti, and the workshop focus is going to be upon hypercube of 5. As such, hypercube 5 and previously value 5 and now the formulation Srishti and previously the formulation Rudra. We know that value 17 is the TCV value of formulation Rudra, while value 18 is the value of the formulation Srishti. Previously we were focusing upon value 5, and today we will be focusing upon hypercube of 5. The workshop session is more important than the theoretical session of this lesson. So lesson brings us face to face with the pure values, while the workshop helps us have more realistic view, and it brings us more nearer the reality of the 5-space VMST format. Applied values make us more attractive, bring us more nearer than the pure values. Pure values, unless and until are going parallel to the applied values, the real worth, a real bliss of the pure values cannot be imbibed. Therefore, the sadhakas shall give more importance to the workshop sessions. Workshop sessions are 4, of which the third session is of 2 phases, and as such it can be said that workshop sessions are 5. First session is a prayer session. In the previous class, our prayer has been concentrating upon sutras, and today the focus shall be upon upsutras. However, we have to have the prayer in present session of the workshop of 2 phases. Firstly, we shall be praying in terms of the text of the sutras, text of 16 sutras, and then same will be continued in terms of 13 upsutras. Therefore, the prayer session of the present workshop, second workshop, which has a focus upon hypercube 5, would be continuing of 16 plus 13 is equal to of the 19 steps. The second session, which focuses upon TCV dictionary, previously we have been focusing upon the Devanagari letters as individual word letters, and therefore the individual letters of Devanagari alphabet which accept the transcendental code values 1 to 16 have been taken care of. So in our TCV dictionary, the first part which opened in the previous workshop was to have a focus upon the individual letters. We know that the Devanagari alphabet is a set of 50 letters, and the transcendental code values accepted by these letters are from value 1 to value 16. Of these, we have noticed that the vowels and the consonants were accepting TCV values range 1 to 9, while the Yama letters are accepting the values of the range 9 to 16. Today, the focus shall be upon the letters of the sutras. The letters of this text of the sutras, Ekadikein Purvein till the Gunit Samuchya Samuchya Gunita. These 29 sutras and upsutras avail 36 letters. Devanagari alphabet is an alphabet of 50 letters, while out of these 50 letters, the text of Ganita Sutras and Upsutra avails only 36 letters. The Devanagari alphabet, which is a set of 50 letters, is availing TCV values 1 to 16. However, the 36 letters being availed by the text of Ganita Sutras and Upsutras have the values from 1 to 9 and then value 13. That means values 10, 11 and 12 are being not availed, and likewise values 14, 15 and 16 as well are being not availed by the text of the Ganita Sutras. Therefore, while we will be having practical steps during the workshop and why will be in the session of TCB dictionary, then here we have to have remain attentive as that the Devanagari alphabet gives us the values range 1 to 16, while the sutras avail only 1 to 9 and 13. One may note that here only 10 TCV values 1 to 9 and 13 is being availed, while the Devanagari alphabet letters are availing 60. One may have a pause here and take note that Ganita Sutra 1 is a text of 16 letters, while the Ganita Upsutra 1 is a text of 10 letters. So the Ganita Sutra 1, which is a text of 16 letters, is having a format of values range 1 to 16, which is parallel to the entire range of values of the Devanagari alphabet. However, Ganita Upsutras are 13 in number, and the first Ganita Sutra is availing 10 letters, and the text of Ganita Sutras and Upsutras, which avail 36 letters, and these 36 letters of this text are availing TCV values 1 to 9 and the value 30. Therefore, in fact, the Ganita Sutras and Upsutras 36 letters are having 10 distinct TCV values, 1 to 9 and then 13. There is a jump here over values 10, 11 and 12 as well as 14, 15 and 16. 6 values 10, 11 and 12 and 14, 15 and 16 are being not availed by the text of the Ganita Sutras and Upsutras. Then when we'll be going a step ahead in the organization features, then we have to take care that the organization feature of the text is giving us a tabulation. This tabulation of the letters of the chapters is the organization feature, which was matter of focus in the previous workshop, has been the organization of the Samhitas of Shiv Puran, and there are 7 Samhitas, and the second Samhita being of 5 khands, 5 parts, and 7th Samhita is of 2 parts, and this as such makes it a setup of 12 parts. Now this organization we have seen that leads to total 457 value. There are in all 457 chapters. Out of these 457 chapters, the first Samhita, Videshwar Samhita, is of the range of 25 chapters, and the balance is of 432 chapters. Here today our focus is going to be upon the text of the sutras, and of the text of sutras our first attention is going to be upon the text of Ganita Sutras. We can have a pause and take note that the Ganita Sutra 1 is of the text of 10 letters, and of these is 10 letters, and this value 10 is parallel to the TCV values range of the 36 letters availed by the text of Ganita Sutras and Upsutras. Now, Ganita Upsutras are 13 in number, and of these 13 in number, the importance is that value 13 as well is being availed by the TCV values. So values 1 to 9 and then value 13. These 10 values are being availed by the text of the Ganita Sutras. Ganita Sutras and Ganita Upsutras avail 36 letters. The 36 letters avail the TCV values 1 to 9 and 13. So in all, the 10 values are being availed by the letters of the text of Ganita Sutras and Upsutras, and the Ganita Upsutra 1 is a text of 10 letters. These are the features which have their own importance, and the additional thing which we shall be noting with proper consideration is that the total letters of the text of Ganita Sutras 1 to 13 are 236. The total letters of Ganita Sutras are 519, while the text of the letters of Ganita Upsutras are 236. We can note that the value 236 and value 234. So value 234 and value 236 constitute a pair. This pair of values 234 and 236 is of the format of dimension and domain. We can have a pause here and take note that value 234 and value 432 constitute a reflection pair. We had seen that the organization feature of the text of Shiv Puran of Samhitas 1 to 7 of its all 12 parts was giving us the total chapters range as 457, and the 25 chapters of Videshwar Samhita as a class. The remaining class is of 432 value. So 432 letters of the text of Shiv Puran and 234 value as a reflection image of this trimonad. So this trimonad reflection image as a dimension will be taking us to 236, and this value 236 is equal to number of letters of Ganita Upsutras. Like this, we will be having a focus upon this phase of the workshop. So here the text of the chapters and Upsutras text is to be taken, and then the same is to be compared as a system in the context of the text of Shiv Puran and the text of the Ganita Sutras. And the final phase of the workshop, we will be concentrating upon meditation. The previous phase of meditation is in respect of the prayer, which consists of 16 sutras and 13 upsutras. Therefore, it is of 29 steps. But this phase of prayer is of having a different values of Ganita Sutras and different values of Ganita Upsutras. So these become two different reservoirs. These become an independent monads. So these together will get adjustment along a dimonad format. However, the prayer now is going to be in this workshop. The prayer would reach a second phase when there will be a complete range of 1 to 29, and it will take us to Brahma, overlord of real force space. Therefore, this prayer will ultimately reach creators of space. So it is within creators of space that we will be trying to acquire the standardized format for our intelligence field. So our intelligence field with this prayer is trying to be parallel to the creator's space, a fourth space. Like that, we have to sequentially work out the workshop. Therefore, every sadhaka shall open distinct notebooks for each of the phases, each of the sessions. So session 1 of the workshop, which concentrates upon the prayer, shall have an independent notebook. So the notebook shall be given a caption workshop session 1 notebook, and it should be designated as a prayer. All the prayer values, features and steps taken and steps learned, values imbibed, and all our impressions or our evaluations or our queries and everything, all and every aspect with respect to this session shall find place in this particular notebook. The second phase of the workshop will have a distinct notebook. Therefore, regularly when we are reaching from workshop 1 to workshop 2, then in the same notebook, the first notebook, prayer notebook, we have to mention in continuity as to in workshop 1 our prayer evolution, our prayer has been of these values for us, and then in continuity in workshop 2 the further values, impressions and all queries and all questions, all answers and everything whatever is to be of any interest or of any impression for the sadhakas regarding the prayer session shall be mentioned in the same notebook. So this notebook is to continue workshop 1, this much phase, this note, then it's in continuity, the workshop 2 entries would be there, and like that this notebook will sequentially evolve itself and it will be the reach of the prayer session of all the workshops. Then the next session, session 2, which is to be about the TCV dictionary, then this notebook of a workshop notebook of session 2 captioned as TCV dictionary notebook. In it also one shall regularly update the reach of these workshops. Therefore, in workshop 1 we have this much progress in this caption TCV dictionary compilation. So the next day the progress under this head of this session of TCV compilation exercise will be in continuity of the previous reach. Like that, in this notebook we will be having a continuous evolution process of compilation, and we will be having ultimate reach, where we want to reach, how far we can reach in respect of our TCV dictionary compilation. Like that, the third session stage and fourth session stages as well will be sequentially evolving, sequentially progressing in the distinct session 3 and session 4 notebooks. The additional thing which we have noted and which we want to share is that this is a different discipline. It is a transcendental discipline. The theory and the practical, the workshop classes as such are of distinct features and values. Therefore, at the initial stages, we should make a habit of grouping ourselves. So 4 to 5 persons, students and sadhakas shall group and make a group. So in each group there will be say 5 sadhakas, and these 5 members of this particular group, these classmates, these sadhakas group shall exchange amongst themselves, discuss amongst themselves, and evolve and get evaluation of one's own understanding from others, and one shall evaluate others also. It would be as if you are adopting the technique of learning and teaching. Learn and teach, teach and learn. So it is this particular technique which will be soon of a very good help, and one will find a great progress, breakthrough while within a group. Then that group itself will be complementing and supplementing each other. Our efforts would be multiplied and our progress would be multiplied manifold. Now the today's lessons focus. Today's lesson 62 is about the formulation Srishti. The Samhita 2, Rudra Samhita, is a scripture, and this scripture is of 5 khand, 5 parts. The first part of Rudra Samhita is Srishti khand. Srishti is having simple rendering, means creation. In this particular part of the Samhita, which in itself is a complete, therefore Srishti khand is a complete scripture in itself, and in this scripture the focus is upon the creation, how the creation is there and how this creation is in a manifested form, and how there happens to be transition and transformation for the creations because of the transcendental base and a transcendental phenomenon. Therefore, let us focus upon the formulation Srishti. This formulation Srishti accepts an association of value 1 as it is a complete formulation. Further, we see that this formulation is of a pair of syllables, Sri and Shti. So it accepts association of value 2, a dimonad format. And then this part is of a pair of letters, Sa and Ri, and this part is of triple letters. Therefore, from here, this dimonad state is like Rudra, a state where the first component, first monad of this dimonad is itself a dimonad, and the next monad of this dimonad is a trimonad. Now here we can have a pause and take note that within a surface we can have a line and a surface. So this feature, this formulation as dimonad with its first monad itself as a dimonad takes us to this format, that within a surface we are having a line as well as a plane. Now the second monad, so this formulation as dimonad format with this monad takes us to triple. Here we have to take note that 2 space is having 3 space in the role of an origin. 2 space is having 3 space as a origin. Therefore, this surface at its center is having a solid content, 3 space place. Therefore, it is here where the surface is having a solid seal. It is this solid seal at the center of the surface. Solid seal at the center of the surface will classify it into 2 parts, and it is this classification which is making an extra features, distinguishing features for this monad of this dimonad. So first monad of the dimonad is of dimonad format, while the second monad of the dimonad is of a trimonad format. Therefore, we have to concentrate as to how the 3 space or a cube in the role of origin of 2 space is of a setup within which we can have a line, we can have a surface, we may have solid as well. Therefore, interval, square and cube within a cube, and cube in the role of an origin. These are the features which are distinguishing features, specific features of the formulation Srishti. These features are to be imbibed by us. We have to be face to face with these features of this particular formulation. Further, we have to take note that TCB value of this formulation is 18. Therefore, we have to see that the value 234, which is a domain of hypercubes 1 to 9 of value 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. The boundary of these hypercubes are of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 19, and the versions of these hypercubes are 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 29, and the grand total gives us 234. This 234 is equal to 18 into 24. Therefore, it is this creation feature, and 24 we know is the TCV value of a Purusha. Further, we know that value 24 is 4 into 6, and it takes us to the grid 4 into 6, and we know this grid is accommodating double digit numbers of 5 place value. It is this organization feature which are to be imbibed during this session. So organization features are to be taken ultimate to the system of the format. Therefore, these all features of the formulation Srishti 18, taking us to 18 in 24, taking us to the domain, boundary, and the number of the versions of the hypercubes, all these components are taking us to 234, and 234 as a dimension takes us to 236, and this 236 takes us to the total number of letters of the Ganita Upsutras. So see how these all aspects are interconnected. See how this organization is unfolding itself. Therefore, during our workshops, we have to be very concentrative, and it is this concentration which is really going to be of real help to us. Now let us see that value 18 takes us where? The formulation Jyoti is of value 18. Value Vidya is also of value 18. Formulation Ishwar is also of value 18. And formulation Prakriti is also of value 18. Therefore, while we will be compiling our TCB dictionary with focus at value 18, previously our focus upon formulation Rudra with formulation 17 has given us Divya, Atma, Dravya, Rudra, Punra, and like that we had reached. Today with value 18 we will be reaching at Prakriti, Jyoti, Vidya, Ishwar, and then the Srishti. So these all are there, and as our focus is upon hypercube 5, then we know hypercube is what? It is 3, 4, 5 and 6. Therefore 3 space in the role of dimension, 4 space in the role of boundary, 5 space in the role of domain, and 6 space in the role of origin. Now let us see 3 space means hypercube 3. We know hypercube 3 is of 7 versions. So let us sequentially chase these all 7 versions and see that we are getting 7 bodies here, 7 entities here. If we go to hypercube 4, it is of 9 versions. So these are the 9 versions of hypercube 4. If we go to hypercube 5, it is of 11 versions. A step ahead, when you go to hypercube 6, these are 13 versions. See, 7, 9, 11, 34, it makes a value 40. It would be blissful to take note that hypercube of 5, which is a focus of today's lesson, it is having domain boundary ratio as a raised to power 5 is to 10, b raised to power 4, and it gives us 40 coordinates. So we require 40 coordinates for fixation of the creative boundary of hypercube 5. And see, the 3 space with 7 versions, 4 space with 9 versions, 5 space with 11 versions, and 6 space with 13 versions is giving us precisely 40 versions. We are having a 40 bodies. We are having a 40 bodies in the form of 7 cubes, 9 hypercube 4, 11 hypercube 5, and 13 hypercube 6. And we require precisely 40. We require 40 coordinates for fixation of the creative boundary of a hypercube 5. Therefore, one shall sit comfortably and one shall see how these formulations are mathematical formulations, how these formulations are the geometrical formulations, how these formulations are the formulations of the existence phenomenon, and see how the creation of our solar universe in a manifested form, in fourfold form, within the creator's space with the transcendental base, or transiting and transforming and making it a continuous phenomenon. It is this continuous phenomenon which is the subject matter of learning and subject matter of understanding. It is with respect to this phenomenon that we have to acquire a proper insight. It is with respect to this phenomenon that we have to attain the appropriate enlightenment. It is for this insight, and it is for this learning, and it is for this enlightenment that we are exposing ourselves. So this exposure, which is going to be, and when in a srishti, and we will take to the formulation Jyoti, therefore Jyoti with value 18 will be taking us to the Lagd Jyotish Veda. Lagd is the Rishi, Lagd is the author. Lagd is a formulation, and it is also of value 18. Therefore, the srishti which is being exposed, to which we are being initiated, is of such a wide range of the universal order, and then it ultimately is to unfold for us a whole range of Vedangas, including the Jyotish Vedanga. Therefore, Jyoti, and when will become a Jyotish, it will become of value 24. Therefore, the value 234 is the value, it will be a Jyoti which will be unfolding as a Jyotish. Therefore, this reach of this ancient wisdom is the reach of a universal order. It is this universal order to which we are being exposed. It is this universal order which we are attaining. It is this universal order which we are aspiring to absorb. We want an insight. We want an attainment of this universal order. Therefore, for this knowledge, for this enlightenment, we have to be very sincere. We have to be very dedicated. We have to be very faithful. We have to remain ever conscious, and each learning step is to be learned faithfully, and it is a mathematics. It is organized sequentially, ekadhiken purven, each step, one step more than the previous step. So every step, every processing step is coordinated, organized mathematically upon the geometric format of the order of the solar universe. Therefore, we are in a class of a mathematics. We are in the class of a mathematics of 5-space VMST format, and this format is the format which will be taking us sequentially to Prakriti and nature, and then it will be unfolding for us a Jyoti, and with this unfoldment, this inherent unfoldment, this transcendental phenomenon of its own going to eternity. So all these features are to be learnt very gently, to be absorbed very faithfully, to be conscious effort. Therefore, pray and meditate. Therefore, these workshop steps are more valuable than these theoretical lesson steps, and it is in terms of these practical workshop steps that we will be really being on the right path. Thank you very much.